So we are at it again. Samro in the news again for some form of fraud or corruption again, which is kind of disheartening considering I generally only share the good, but there is a dark side to these CMOs clearly. So I just thought I'll just read it out so people know what's going on. I'll leave a link in the description so you can read these articles that I've bumped into online, and I'll share some of my opinion, of course. But this is by Sunday World, and it's written there by Zamandeyi. Samro COO suspended for exposing fraud amounting to millions of rands. That let me just zoom in a little there. So Mpomo Fikwe, a COO of Samro, was suspended on Monday for allegedly disclosing fraud. Insiders claim that Mofikwe exposed a significant amount of corruption. It is reported under scandalous 30 million was alleged in spending on board members, along with 60 million in alleged fraudulent claims. There's no other citation for that, but rather than receive a hero's medal, she received a letter of suspension. So she was suspended for exposing this, allegedly. What really happens, we won't really know because they have to do internal investigations, etc. And it's not really clear why she's got suspended, and it won't be because it's an internal matter at first. Her only crime was telling the truth, quote, said someone. She rocked the boat and now she's being thrown overboard, said the source. So there was a forensic investigation to probe this about between 2020 and 2023, and Samro paid roughly 62 million to 61 publishers, authors, composers, and artists between that period. So, however, the board allegedly turned against the official who was attempting to clean up the mess and close ranks instead. She demanded accountability. She wanted all the bad apples out. However, the CEO urged her to forgive and move on. Paul refused. She said that's an obstruction of justice, another source said. The drama intensified following a heated extraordinary general meeting on July 10th, so last month, during which 3 board members faced dismissal. So people got dismissed. There's definitely something happening there. And my gripe, I won't read the rest of it. I'll leave a link in the description. But my primary my gripe with particularly Samro is with the communication specifically in social media. They could be shedding light, which is difficult, of course, because they have to take accountability. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that we as musicians don't know. Some things we'll never really know. Royalties are generally a mystery in the background as it is. So when you hear things like fraud, that amount of money being used, and Sam already has a particularly not great public image. When you're hearing these kind of things, it does not help. Particularly when people don't trust the organization. And the alternatives are very limited because the way the system is structured, all the money generated within South Africa has to go through Samro. So you can register with another CMO, PRS, ASCAP, BMI, or whatever, but the money still has to go through Samro. What I did miss in this article is everybody knows it. All PROs have what some people call black box royalties. These are royalties where the money can't be sent to the owners. Hence, the CMO or the PRO, in this case Samro, has to hold on to it until the respective owners of that copyright come to Samro and say, I actually own this copyright, this is my song. But I think this is where that commission found where there was waste, fraud, and abuse. I shouldn't say it like that, but there was some form of abuse of funds because that black box money, it's not accounted for. But to be able to get all that money, you have to have several people involved. You have to have the artists involved to know the times. Like, there's quite a bit of information that is required to be able to go claim a song. So there has to be artists who are external from Samro, and then there also has to be people inside of Samro it has to be a coordinated type of fraud. And to be able to get the 6 million, So it's definitely people who know the system in and out and the personnel involved with running this kind of fraud. Another one here, suspended COO. So it's linked to the previous article. Has accused the, I think he's the CEO. I can't remember what he is. Of nepotism. So here's another scathing article with regards to Samro. And then, of course, this is an older one. Music royalties campaign once hits roll for 60 million graft. Gaffed. Is it graft? Graft. So at the end of the day, guys, the system is set up the way the system is set up. It's very difficult to say don't register with Samro, because no matter what, your money is going to go through Samro. You can register with other PROs. So what I've done, all my royalties inside South Africa, I let Samro collect those, and then all my royalties that are generated outside of South Africa go to a different PRO. The issue right now is most of my royalties are from South Africa, so no matter what, Samro will have an effect on how the flow goes in and out. But if all your royalties are just in South Africa, then you have to stick with Samro for now. What we can do is become members, join in. There's various organizations trying to weed out the corruption within Samro. And no matter what organization that has lots of money, if there is a gray area or a place where things can be manipulated, they will be manipulated. What we can do as musicians, I suppose, is we have to make sure our money doesn't end up in the black box at the end of the day. We do this by always doing the notification of works. If the money is really, like if you're getting over 100,000, then you should not be collecting all that money yourself. You should have some kind of publishing admin or a publisher. So most of my royalties are linked to a publisher, and the publisher is has board members in Samro. So they can somewhat help shield any form of corruption that does or could happen. And then with regards to radio plays, track the things that you can track. So you should be, if you know you're running a radio campaign, the song should be running through Warm Music or Radio Monitor, so you actually have the exact numbers of the streaming, the exact numbers of the radio plays. With regards to streaming too, you have that data. So whenever you get your royalty sheets, you go back to those royalty sheets, and then once you've gone through those royalty sheets, you make sure the numbers match. So you look at how many times it's been played and how many times you seeing it's being played. And if it's not, that means something's underwater, and then you contact Samro until you get it resolved. But for now, don't lose hope, because there are people getting money from Samro. I'm one of them. The money does make its way through. Whether it's the right amount or not, we'll never fully really know. I'm not trying to make this video to dishearten people. You must register with Samro. You don't have a choice. If you're a South African-based musician, you have to register with Samro, especially if most of your income is going through Samro. But if you are some musician that's outside of South Africa, you might consider signing up with another PRO. But they've all got scandals, it seems. PRS has had a scandal, I think. BMI, they've all got lawsuits. They've all had lawsuits. That's just the nature of the music business. Whether they are corrupt or not, I'll leave that to the better minds to go through those. But for now, register with Samro if you're a South African musician with South African music being played. But I just thought I'd share some of the dark side of the music industry, and particularly with Samro. But yeah, keep the flame going.